everybody. Happy Friday. You guys, we made it through another week. And here we are. It is Feel Good Friday, which is my favorite day of the week. And I hope that it is one of your favorite days of the week as well. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Feel Good Friday is feel good jewelry. Feel good creativity, instant gratification designs that you can either buy the kits in my Etsy shop to recreate, or you can recreate these using stuff that is already in your own supply, which makes me the worst salesperson in the entire world when you think about it. But I mean, you know, I still struggle with asking you guys, to buy things. So that's just how it always ends up. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Hi, Anita. Hi, Sharon. Oh, my goodness. You guys, good afternoon, Brenda. So I'm not feeling great, but I do have to update you. I do feel better than I felt yesterday. I'm still very much congested. I'm still very much coughing. The cough will probably, you know how bronchitis is. The cough will probably last for a month. I'm just ready for the congestion to kind of go away because I'd like to have my voice back. So thank you, everybody, to those who have been saying some prayers and thinking happy thoughts for me to get well. I am on the mend, but, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. Always does. Oh, I do feel better than I felt yesterday. Yesterday was probably the worst. And I keep telling everybody, and everybody was asking me last night, like, how do you feel? Are you feeling better? And I was like, well, I feel the worst today than I have felt the entire time, which means that I must be on the upswing. So I'm going to consider that the truth. Yesterday was the worst. So today I'm kind of on the upswing. So yeah. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Mary. Oh, gosh. I still have the sweats. I hate that. You guys ever get the sweats when you're sick? And it's not necessarily because you have a fever, but your body temperature does kind of elevate a little bit to fight things off. And when you're congested, I just feel like it just makes you hot. And I get the sweats. I'm verklempt. Oh gosh, I'm glistening, if you will. All right, so Colleen, calm down, friend. You've got this. You've got this. Colleen, you're a funny friend. I love Colleen, by the way. You guys, she's been coming over with Joan to help me with inventory. And shout out to her, okay? Shout out to her for number one, putting up with me and Joan. And number two, because girl just doesn't know how talented she is. She just doesn't know how talented she is. And she really and truly is a talented jewelry maker. So I'm calling her out publicly because she deserves it. And right now she is learning the ropes for how to post links and be moderator during my lives. So share some love with her and Nicole and Joan, everybody on my team. I have such a great team. All right, so I do have, Wanda says I have the bead sweats. That's so funny because Colleen and I were talking about the sugar sweats the other day and Joan was like, what is that? I have the bead sweats. Okay, let's dive right in because I've been chit-chatting a few minutes, but that's just because I wanted to let everybody get in. You guys know the drill. That's the way it is. Some people get mad at me for talking too much in the beginning, but you got to know, I got to let my people get in here before I get to the meat and potatoes of the show, right? So, Colleen says no shout-outs. Shout-outs indeed. So, let's talk. It's Feel Good Friday. I got a couple of things to tell you guys. So, first of all, it is Feel Good Friday, which I'm going to say it again for those in the back. Feel Good Friday is our favorite day of the week because this is the day that we create feel good, inspiring, easy to replicate, instant gratification jewelry to take you into the weekend. So you don't have to use a lot of thought. You just have to be inspired to make pretty, beautiful, instant gratification on your way through your weekend, easy peasy, right? So there are two ways you can participate in Feel Good Friday. You can either purchase kits from my Etsy shop to recreate these pieces exactly as you see them, or you can recreate these using things that you have in your own stash and just use this as your inspiration, right? So that being said, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that there are a couple of things going on in the Etsy shop right now. So not only have the new kits hit the store, which means I've got 2 projects to show you, 2 really cool necklaces for today, but I'm also having a sale from right now until Monday, 10% off select kits in the shop. Not all kits, but some of the kits, the ones I'm kind of trying to move through so that I've got room for others, those are 10% off until Monday. You don't have to use a coupon code for those. You just add those to your cart and it automatically takes that discount off for you. So if there are some that you have not purchased yet because you were waiting to see if maybe I was going to have a sale, I'm having a sale. I don't do them often, but when I do, know that that means it's because I've got new things coming and I'm trying to move out inventory. So that's super fun. Just so you know, that's a sale going on. No coupon code needed. Let's see, what else? Oh, brand new in the shop are things that I'm going to, from now on, call maker mixes. Now, before everybody attacks me, I know other people, other artists, other companies do this sort of thing, right? It's a designer curated little mix of goodies. There are no findings. It's just beads and, components and fun little things to inspire you to use with your own stuff. I know everybody and their mom does this. I know other people do it. But there's a reason why other people do it. There's a reason why artists in particular, maybe not big companies, but there's a reason in particular why artists do it. And I'll tell you exactly what that is. I'll give you some insider information. The reason that we do that is because sometimes I have goodies, but I don't have enough to make 50 kits out of them. I don't have enough of them to make 25 kits out of them, but I want to share the goodies with you guys, right? So you put together the little maker mixes. That's what I'm going to call mine, are maker mixes. And then you can use those however you want to. They're in the shop. Grab them if you want them. Ignore them if you don't. Look at the pictures. Use them as inspiration. I don't care. I just want to share with you some goodies that I have that I ultimately will never have enough of to make an entire finished kit out of. But I still want you to have them because they're cool. So just know, those are coming around. This is the first drop. There's only 4 of them. This is just the first of many because I got so much inventory. This is going to be a great way for me to kind of go through my stuff. So there you go. All right. Also want to let you guys know tomorrow at 2 p.m. I have a Michael's class. We're making sun catchers. Do I have it out here? I do. I'm going to show it to you so you can see what it looks like. This is what our Michael's class for tomorrow is. These are sun catchers, easy to make, a lot of fun. So that is for 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'm also, hopefully, I'll be part of Sam's Bead Box over on Sam's Bead Shop Facebook Live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. with a project for you guys. I say hopefully because Sam is really encouraging me to rest because I've been sick. So we're going to see how I feel at the end of the day before I completely commit to that. And if I'm not there tomorrow, I will definitely be there next weekend on Saturday. So just letting you know, he's worried that I'm spreading myself too thin and not letting myself rest and get better. So he's looking out for me. Anything else I need to share with you guys? I don't think so. I think that is all that I need to share with you guys, except for one more thing that I need to say. And I've said this before, but every once in a while I have to put this out there. This is not necessarily for my live wires or my YouTube group or any of that. This is for anybody else who happens to be watching. I am open for collaborations, whether you are a bead company, whether you are, working in the industry and you are looking for an artist to collaborate with. I am open, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you are looking for someone. Also, I am open to being a guest designer, being a, coming and chatting and sharing my wisdom with you. So all of those things, you guys, I'm open to. I'm opening myself up. I'm opening the doors for God's blessings. I am, you guys know, I'm always looking for an opportunity to get back into a TV studio and share my talent and my passion with you guys on another level. So I'm just opening that up to the universe, from my lips to God's ears, and to the rest of you. So there you go. All right, you guys, never have enough words for that, but it is what it is. So, all right, let's get down to business. I've got a stress ball. I'm sorry for those of you who are like, what is she holding? It's a stress ball. It's actually just a balloon filled with rice. And I'm squishing my stress ball. I'm going to put it down so I can't reach it. Let's get started with today's Feel Good Friday projects. I've got 2 necklaces for you guys. All right, so let's get started, shall we? Okay, all right. I do feel like I need to tighten up my tripod just a minute, and then let's get started. You guys see the small bell making pliers? That's what I'm gonna be using today. So I want to show you one of the kits. I don't have a finished sample because I had to take it apart to show you how to do it, but we're gonna make a little component, okay? We're going to make ourselves a little wire wrapped necklace, and we're going to make one of these little components. Now we've actually made, oh, my wire I must have cut that when I was taking it apart. So we've actually made these little components before, and I thought that we would do them in a smaller version for a necklace kit, a little pendant, if you will. So we are going to make this, and we're going to take these beautiful glass drops. Look at these. They look like water droplets. I'm obsessed with these beads right now. They're so cool. They are literal drops. They're clear glass with that blue like swirl through them, which gives them kind of like this blue glow. I don't know. They're just gorgeous. So we're going to take our little drops and we're going to attach them. We're going to wire wrap them to our component, and then we're going to wire wrap around them. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is one of the kits that's in the shop right now. Super, super cute. You get all the things that you need to make this. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm going to use a piece of 18 gauge wire. Okay. And it is just a very short piece. It's pre-measured in your kit for you. And then I'm going to use my small bell making pliers. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do to create these little twirls, swirls, loops, whatever you want to call them on the ends. Okay. So if you don't have the small bell making pliers, you can use the stepped bell making pliers. If you have those, use some sort of some sort of mandrel, anything you've got, even your round nose pliers. The only reason I don't necessarily recommend your round nose pliers is because they're tapered, and so in order to get consistent loops, you might want to mark your pliers with some permanent marker so that you get the same size loop on either side so that they match. Okay, that tapered end on your round nose pliers sometimes can be tricky to get the exact same size every time. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to start, and we're going to use the smallest mandrel portion of the small bell making pliers, and we're going to grab the end of the wire on one end, and we're just going to turn a loop. We're just going to do a very simple loop on one end, right? And that was with the small section. Now we're going to bump up to this larger mandrel, okay? And we want to place the wire in your tool so that that loop is sitting right up against the mandrels. There's no room for movement here, okay? And we're going to bend the wire in the opposite direction. Now, when you take this off of the tool, that's what you've got. You've got this cute little S, sort of looks like a shepherd's hook, just kind of depends on what, how you're looking at it, but the small mandrel here and the larger mandrel here. And now we just want to repeat that on the opposite end. So we want to hold the wire with our bell making pliers, right at the end. We're going to turn a simple loop going one direction. I didn't close that all the way. You need to make sure that your loops are closed. Okay, and then we're going to grab that. Whoops, flip my pliers over here. We're going to grab it again so that that loop is sitting right up against the edge of the tool, and bend the wire around to create our little hooks. So this is what you've got so far, right? And it actually goes this direction because we're going to wire wrap our beads in this space between the two smaller loops. Okay, And you'll notice this one is bent in a, you know, we've got a nice curve going on here, but we're not going to do that just yet. We need to attach our beads first before we give this a curve. And we're actually going to do this with our fingers. You don't need a special tool to make that shape. We're just going to make small little movements with our fingers to do that. But first, we're going to attach our beads. So to attach the beads, you're going to need a piece of 26 gauge wire. And for both of these, I'm using German style wire, just in case you're curious. However, artistic wire works just as well. Okay. So I'm going to take a small piece of my 26 gauge wire. Okay. Had mine wound up because this one was already in kit form. Okay. And I got a little kink in my wire here. We'll deal with that in a little bit. Now, I'm going to attach this to the smaller loop, okay? And to do that, I'm actually going to use my pliers. Hold on, let me grab a pair of pliers here. I'm going to take my pliers and very, very carefully grab a hold of that loop and open it just slightly, okay? Don't open it big and wide, just open it just slightly, just a little twist so that we can wire wrap around that and we don't have to go through the loop every time. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second, but let's go ahead and anchor our wire. So I'm going to lay the wire across the top of that, right? And then using just a little end, about an inch, see how I just slipped that right between that opening? I'm going to use that opening to very easily slip my wire through there, and I want to anchor this about 3 times. That's all. Okay, 3 little wire wraps. And now I'm going to come in with my pliers. I'm going to close that back. Okay, I'm going to come to the back of this and I'm going to use my cutter tool to trim off the excess wire. Where's my cutter? What has happened to my cutter today? Oh, it's behind me. Goodness gracious. Okay. Trim that off. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Run your finger across it. Make sure there's not any pieces sticking out. All right. And now we want to thread on our 5 beads. So I'm going to thread on each one of these cute little drops. I love these beads. They're so fun. Okay. All 5 of these. Janelle says, what is the best bell making tool to purchase for a first time pair? You know, if I were just going to buy 1 pair, you know, just to get started, but I wanted to have all of the options, I would buy the stepped bell making pliers. I'll show them to you. Reason being because these can do the job of both the small bell making pliers and the large bell making pliers. So I definitely would just buy this one right out the gate, and then you've got the opportunity to make 6 different sizes of loops instead of 2. So I love this one. This is my probably number 2 favorite tool that I own is this guy right here. All right, so dropping our beads down. Okay. And we're going to wire wrap these to the other, we're going to wire wrap these to the other side. And again, what I want to do is I want to come in just to make life easier for myself and very gently open that loop up. And now I can lay my wire inside there, right? Hold my beads kind of out of the way. And I can wire wrap. I'm having trouble holding things today. All right, so I'm just going to wrap this around, okay, to anchor. And then I'm going to come back in with my pliers, close that back. Now this time don't trim off your wire, okay, because we got to have that. We're going to use all of this length of wire to wire wrap between our drops. Now you're going to notice that it's kind of a tight fit at the moment. This is when you want to come in and just slightly, okay, don't bend it a whole lot yet, but just slightly. Take your 2 index fingers to the middle and kind of push down just a little bit. Don't make a deep bend in it yet, right? Just a slight curve to get started. That's all. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use this wire and we are going to wrap around this larger piece of wire, right? In between the beads. Okay, and you're going to jump across, right? Just like this. And yes, you have to kind of make the beads behave. Okay, so we're going across. See, I'm making like little triangles going across the top of those beads, going between the bead and around both the 26 gauge wire and the 18 gauge wire, right? Okay, I've made it all the way to the other end. I'm going to turn my pendant around in my hand and I'm going to go back the other direction. Okay, so you're going between the beads and around, between the beads and around, between the beads and around, and between. Now we're back on the other side. I'm going to flip it back over, right? And I'm going to go back the other direction. Between, 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 right? Super easy. And it's messy, right? It's not, I'm not making these perfect little wraps. I'm making messy wraps. I like them messy. I don't want them to be lined up. I want them to have visual interest, right? I want them to be cool to look at. So now I'm just going back the other direction. So all you're doing is just going back and forth until you use up all of the length of your wire to go between your beads. And you will notice that as you go, it starts to get a little tight between your beads. That's exactly what you want. You know, you don't want these to be going all over the place and wobbling around. You want this wire to not only be pretty, but it's also helping to stabilize your beads. And we're going to give the pendant part another bend here in just a second. Okay, now I'm running out of wire. I only have a little bit left. I've got enough to make it to the other end. Okay, I've made it right here to the other end. Now I'm going to very carefully just take this wire and kind of tuck it in. I'm going to wrap it around itself right there at the end. All right, and I might even do it twice. Use your pliers for this. Okay, see how I'm just kind of tucking it around and wrapping it around the wire right here? Okay, and then come to the back. Use your cutter tool and trim off the excess. Okay, now come back and look at the front of your pendant. You can see how my beads are sticking, like some of them are sticking up, some of them are kind of funky. So we're going to bend again. So put your fingers, your 2 index fingers in the center to give it a bend. And the more you bend, the more you're opening up the wire a bit so that those beads can hang exactly where you want them to, right? How pretty is that? It's so fun. It's so fun. And I've done this with round beads before and it looks just as cool, but I really kind of love this with the drop shape. I just think it's super pretty. So there's your little pendant, but that's not all. We want to really bring out that blue a little bit more. So in your kit, you've got 2 beautiful crystal blue bicones. We're going to put those bicones on either side, and then we're just going to attach some chain to this and a clasp and call it a day. But you get all the pieces, you get your chain and everything in your kit. So it's all ready for you. Okay. Some little jump rings and some little eye pins for our beads. So I'm just going to do simple loops. I'm going to thread my bead onto one of these eye pins and I'm going to bend the wire. We're not doing a wrapped loop here because this is a tiny little eye pin, right? It's just short. It's only big enough for a regular loop. Let me trim just a tiny little bit off. Okay, I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. Oops, sorry for the shaking. and I'm going to roll back. Okay, so now I've got a loop on either end, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other. Okay. Bend my wire. I'm trimming off just a hair, just a tiny, tiny bit. Round nose pliers and roll back towards my hands and the bead, and I've got another loop. I'm just going to attach these with some jump rings. So let me grab another pair of pliers. Okay, so I'm just going to use a 4mm jump ring. I'm going to thread that on to the loop on the end, and I'm going to attach it to the loop, the larger loop here on my pendant. Close it back. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, open, attach, and attach my little crystal, and then I'm going to close that back. Okay. Now I'm going to attach this to my chain. Now my chain pieces, I've already done this part just to save some time. So there are my jump rings and my clasp, which is also in your kit, right? And then on the ends, I already have a 4mm jump ring on either one of these. So I'm just going to open that up and attach that to the loop on one of those. And the same thing over here. And guys, the chain pieces in your kits are a little long. So you can cut them off, trim them up if you want a little bit shorter necklace, but I gave you plenty of chain to work with. And there you go. You've got yourself instant gratification, beautiful jewelry. I love this. You guys, we are in July, and if any of you are into like your sign, the sign for July is Cancer, the crab, and it's a water sign. I don't really believe in any of that stuff, but I know some of you guys do, and that's cool if you do. Totally cool. But water, July always makes me think of water, just because of that. And so that's what this little pendant reminds me of. It's like little raindrops, right? It's so pretty. As little drops of water, right? Calming. It's a little soothing. Water cleanses. I don't know. I'm going crazy. Don't listen to me. It's the Mucinex talking. All right, so that's the first kit that's in the shop, you guys. I'm going to show you the other one. It's a little bit different. The other kit is a little bit different for sure, but I'll show you what this looks like on the bust when we get done. So I'm just going to sit this to the side for a minute, and let's move on to our other necklace. So the other necklace is a little funky. This one is super fun. It's very boho. It's very beachy. So these are the beads that are included. So there's these gorgeous ceramic beads. How pretty are those? Oh, I love those. And there are some wooden beads. There is this lace, let's see, wood lace agate. There's a piece of wood lace agate. These golden leaves, so pretty. And then, of course, your focal bead. And there are 3 different focals to choose from. And it also comes with a piece of suede lace. And the suede lace and the focal bead, there are 3 choices. So there's a gray and a focal that's a little different, a brown and a focal that's a little bit different, and this green color with this focal, okay? But they're all the same kind of bead. And, of course, our jump rings and everything we need to put this together. There's also hemp, because hemp is really what the base of this necklace is about. So there are 4 pieces of hemp in your kit, and the pieces are, I believe they're 3 feet long each. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 4 pieces here and I'm going to bundle them together. Hold on. Takes me a minute to get them all bundled up. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to have to pull up the picture because I want to be sure I do this exactly the way that I did it the first time. You guys ever have that problem? I have totally lost my phone. All right. I'm going to pull up the picture because I just want to get this right. I don't want to mess it up and it look different. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to tie a knot in all 4 of our pieces here. Okay, and that's going to make some fringe that's going to come out the bottom of our focal bead, and it was going to lay behind our feather here. So depending on how long you want your little fringe pieces to be, I'm going to come back. I'm going to leave mine, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe. I don't want them to be too long, but okay, I'm going to tie an overhanded knot in all 4 pieces of the hemp. Okay, and I'm going to pull that down. And before, actually I'm not, I'm going to go ahead and pull that knot tight. You can tie on your jump ring right this second if you want to. But basically this jump ring right here, I've got on my leaf here, I have a 4mm jump ring and a 6mm jump ring, and they are already attached because I've taken this apart so that I can show you how to do it. But this 6mm jump ring needs to be attached to your knot. So you can either attach it to your knot as you're tying, or you can kind of slip it in. Let's loosen up our knot just a little bit. I probably shouldn't have tied it so tight right off the bat, but I want to secure this jump ring just to the knot itself. There's no extra hardware here. I'm just going to kind of loosen that. Whoa, goodness. Cooper says hello. I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit so that now I can slide that 6mm jump ring in to my knot. Right, see how I did there? And then the 4mm jump ring on top of the little leaf, and then attach that. Close your jump ring back. Okay, so that's attached, just tied right in. Okay, and now I'm going to pull it snug by pulling each individual piece of the hemp. Okay, now that's going to hang at the bottom. We're also going to wire wrap this to hang here in the front, but I'm going to wait and do that at the very end, okay? Now I have these 4 pieces. They won't all 4 fit through the hole on my focal bead, but I'm going to pick one of them. I'm just going to select one of the strands of hemp, okay? Separate it away from the other pieces, and I'm going to thread on my focal. Okay, now I'm going to lay that focal bead on top of all of those strands. So basically, and I'm kind of bundling them and holding them together. Basically, it's going to look like this from the front. From the back, you're going to have those pieces going across the back. It's going to help stabilize your bead, but it's also just kind of cool looking, right? So if your necklace flips around to the back, then it still looks cool. But I'm going to take all 4 strands again together, and now I'm going to tie an overhanded knot. And I want that overhanded knot to be snug up against the bead. Okay, just like that. Okay, now your focal part is pretty much done except for the wood lace agate bead that we're going to add later, but this is the center of your necklace, okay, and it's stationary, it's stabilized, that bead's not going anywhere. This is what it looks like on the back. This is what it looks like on the front. Super cool, right? Okay, now I'm going to take all 4 of these strands and I'm going to separate them into 2. Okay, I've got 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. And we're just going to string on our beads and we're going to tie some knots. So these are the beads that I have. I've got 2 of these, 2 of the round ones. I also have 4 of these little wooden beads, so 2 on either side. Okay, and you guys have seen me do this a lot. This is one of my favorite ways to knot things. So starting over here on the right-handed side, I'm going to pick up one of the 2 strands of hemp. I'm going to thread on one of the wooden beads, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. I'm going to bring the 2 pieces of hemp together and tie an overhanded knot. And I'm leaving some wiggle room in there for that bead. I want that bead to have lots of movement. So I'm not going to tie it tight. I'm going to tie it so that it's nice and open. This bead has a whole inch of room, right? to travel around on. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side so that my knots are kind of evenly spaced. So I'm going to take one of the strands of hemp thread on my bead, drop it down, right? And I'm going to take the two ends together and kind of measure, just eyeball it so that our knots are in the same place. Overhanded knot. Before you snug that knot down and make it nice and tight, try to make it in the pretty same space as the other, right? Then you can tighten it down. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna do another bead. I feel like you guys are not seeing enough of this. It's hard to get this whole thing into the frame here. All right, so I'm gonna take another bead. I'm gonna take one of these really cool round beads. I'm gonna drop that down onto one strand, right? And same thing, I'm gonna bring the two strands together, tie an overhanded knot, and pull through. And again, I want to give that bead some wiggle room in there so it can travel. Okay. I'm going to repeat that over here on the other side. Add a bead. And then bring the two ends together to tie an overhanded knot. And before I make that knot tight, I want to kind of measure it against the one on the other side so that I can make my adjustments. And try to get them as close as possible. They're not going to be exact. This one needs to come down just a little bit more. Excuse my fingers in the way. There we go. Okay. I'm going to repeat. Now, the cool part about this necklace is what you don't know yet. And what you don't know yet, unless you've looked at the pictures of this on my Etsy shop, is that this is a really long necklace that you can wear doubled. And I think that's what makes it really, really cool. So you can make it look like a suede lace choker and a hemp necklace. So it looks like two necklaces. You'll just have to wait to see. But just trust me. All right, so thread on another bead. I'm going to bring the two ends together, tie an overhanded knot. Okay. Tie that down. Thank you, Wanda. You are so awesome. I am very versatile, right? It's because I love so many different styles, you know? It's like, I gotta make them all. Gotta make them all. All right, so bringing that down. Right? Same thing. I'm going to tie my knot. We've only got one more bead to add on either side. And then we're going to do a little simple, fun little tushy knots. You guys remember the tushy knots? We haven't done those in a while. We're going to do some tushy knots. Some of you are like, what is a tushy knot? Because we really haven't called it that or done them in so long. All right, last bead on either side. Okay. Whoops. And if your hemp starts to fray, notice how I just kind of twist it. I twist it together, and that really kind of helps it to make it easier to thread your bead on. All right, overhanded knot here. Jewelry Pokemon. Gotta make them all. Gotta make them all. I love that. That's funny. All right, so there's that one. One more on the other side so that it matches. Right? I love these little wooden beads. I don't know where they came from. I have a bunch of them. They're so fun. They fit on everything. They fit on hemp. They fit on leather. They fit on all kinds of stringing materials. So I love that. All right. I need more large hole beads in my life. Okay. Last knot. Just want to make sure that it's in the same kind of space here as that one. All right, now here was what my conundrum was. So how cool is this, by the way? Is that awesome? I'm obsessed with this necklace. I think it's so fun. So I have all of this hemp left, right? But my necklace is not long enough. And I was like, so what am I going to do with it? Well, what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to do some knots with mine. You guys, you have all of this hemp to do whatever you want to with. So you don't have to do this the same way that I'm going to do it. But if you feel like you want to, then go for it because it looks really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my tying station. If you don't have a tying station, that's okay. Just use a clipboard. Use something that you can attach. We'll raise you up a little bit more. Okay. Just something that you can attach this securely to. And I'm not even going to get like crazy secure with this. That jump ring that's still on there from yesterday. Get that off of there. Come on. All right. So I'm going to do some simple knots on both sides of my necklace. So I'm going to take the top part of my necklace. Gosh, it got really dark. I'm going to take the top part of my necklace and I just want to kind of hook it up here. Where's a good place? That'll do. Just tighten it down a little bit. I don't want to hurt my beads or anything, but I just want to be able to get some, you know, to really be able to pull on this and get some leverage here. So we're going to do the tushy knots, you guys. We haven't done these in a while. At least I haven't called them that in a while. So you're just going to tie some half hitch knots. It's really all it is. The knots happen in 2 steps. I'm going to show you. So take one strand and just hold it stationary. Take the other strand, okay? And you're just going to tie a half hitch knot. So we're just making that P shape, right? And we're going to take the long end up through that P shape that we made and pull. And now to repeat that, and you don't pull these tight, by the way, because this hemp is, you don't need to pull it tight. We're going to repeat that, but this time we're going underneath the center and taking the tail down through and pull. And what you get is what we call the tushy, the little tushy knot. See, you got 2 little legs, a little tushy, right? And then the belt that goes across to hold the pants up. That's why we called it that. So that's really all I'm going to do. I'm going to do several of those just to use up some of this hemp. Now, if you don't want to do the knotting on this, you don't have to. Just fill this up with some beads that you've got, right? It doesn't have to, we don't all have to make the same thing. But this is how I'm going to use up some of the hemp. So again, P shape over the straight piece. Take your tail up through the P shape and pull. Repeat that, but this time go behind and then down through and pull. And it makes our little tushy, the little tushy right there. And the little belt to hold the pants up, right? Okay, so I'm just going to repeat. Just keep doing that. And we're going to work up some knots just to use up the length of our necklace. Okay, and I'm not pulling these super, super tight. Okay, so I'm just going to, and I'm going to do these fast so that we can get through both sides of this, because the cool part of this necklace is actually seeing it finished. And so I don't want to keep you here forever and a million years. We got to get through this part. So I hope you don't have to be anywhere right this second, because we're going to knot both sides of this. I didn't have the opportunity to cheat and do part of it in advance. But see all the little tushies and their belts holding their pants up. Now, maybe that's offensive to some of you. If it is, I'm so sorry. Just call this a lark's head knot, because that's what it is. Essentially, it's a lark's head knot in 2 steps. But some of us like to call it the tushy knot. Because you'll always remember that, right? You'll always remember. When you look at it, you'll go, oh, yeah, I remember those. I remember making the little tushies and pulling their pants up with a little belt. You can do this with any cord. Doesn't just have to be hemp, right? And like I said, if you don't want to do this with your necklace, you don't have to. Yeah, so the Cobra wrap, I just saw that comment go by. The Cobra wrap, that is also like a name like the tushy knot, because that's not actually the technical name, I don't guess, but it does show up as that name in a lot of knotting books. But it's where you alternate the sides and it makes a twist. So if you don't do the 2 steps, it'll give you, like if you just do the first step and then you do it over on the other side, it'll give you a twist. Or you can do both of these on one side and both of them on the other side, and it'll give you a twist. We're just doing the flat, and it really is just a lark's head knot. You know how you take 2 ends, loop them through and pull the ends through on something? That's what this is, but you're doing it with 1 strand in 2 steps. I love knots, so I'm all about knots. If you guys want to do naughty things with me, see what I did there? I'm sick, I'm not broken. I'm still naughty. If you want to do naughty things and naughty projects with me, let me know, because I love knots. And I'm also the king of dad jokes, and I laugh at myself. So for those of you who are new, welcome to the Sara Lovecraft sense of humor. Not everybody thinks it's funny. My kids roll their eyes at me. It's okay. You can roll your eyes too. I'm not mad at you. All right, so I'm just working this up, and I'm using up. Now, what's happening here is we're actually using up the length of one of the pieces of hemp. The other one is staying nice and long. We're going to trim them off, but I do want to use up most of the length of at least one of these pieces, because I don't want the wasted hemp. And also, there's enough hemp for you if you don't want to do knots and you want to fill it up with beads. You've got plenty. I made sure you have plenty of hemp in the kit to work with. So you shouldn't need any extra cord for anything with this necklace. But the reason that it's so long is so that we can make it a double strand necklace, which essentially is going to make this a choker and a regular length necklace. Okay, that's where we're going with this. So just using up the length here. I'm going to do 2 more knots on this side, and then we're going to go to the other side real quick. And I'm going to do it quickly so that we can move on, okay? Because I want to show you how to finish this necklace. All right, so I have, like, I don't know, a couple of inches of this side left, right? And I've made up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I can't leave it like that. We got to make 20. So 20 knots on this side, and we're going to do 20 knots on the other side. Okay, there's 20 knots. Let's do the other side real quick. I'll just sit this one to the side. Okay, and I'm actually going to do these backwards on this side so that they are going, they're both going, the little belts are going to be on the outside. So if you want to do that, here's what you do. You do the same thing. We're going to do it on the left instead of the right, but the steps are exactly the same. Okay, so I'm making that P shape, right? I'm just doing it on the left this time, right? It's going over the center and up through and pull, and this time behind the center and down through and pull. Okay, so let's do these real quick, as fast as I can at least. Probably should have started with the left hand first because I'm a little bit slower doing it backwards. Okay, so it's exactly the same, it's just reverse because I want my knots to be a mirror image of the ones that we just did, right? Because we've got a right side of our necklace and a left side of our necklace. That's why I'm making this P shape on the left side. And again, if you don't have the tying station, just attach this to something. Use some painter's tape and just, you know, tape it down to your work surface, or, you know, use a clipboard or a safety pin. You don't have to have the tying station just for this necklace. But I do gotta say, tying station is right up there in my top 5 favorite tools from Beadalon because of the so many uses. Remember, we used this yesterday to make a goddess bracelet. And, you know, that's just one of a million different things that you can use the tying station for. So I definitely recommend it if you don't have one of these in your supply arsenal. I know Colleen's asked for one for Christmas. She wants Santa to bring her a tying station, and I don't blame her. I want him to bring me several. Because I like to have more than one so I can have ongoing projects on them, right? I actually do have 2 because I'm spoiled rotten with tools and I must have them all. But you can see, working these up as quickly as I can so that I can show you how to finish this necklace, you guys. And finishing this up is pretty quick and easy. So once we get to that part, you'll see it doesn't take much. As far as instant gratification jewelry is concerned, this is the only part of this that really takes the most amount of time, and can be avoided altogether if you just want to add beads instead. Oh, she wants a tying station with a side of Brent Smith. Girl, you don't ask for much, do ya? I'll take mine with a side of Zach Bagans, please. Oh gosh, or Patrick Mahomes. Hello. I think that's a pretty good Christmas wish. I like a tying station and a Patrick Mahomes, please. I realize, Santa, that he won't fit in my stocking, but could you make an exception this year, please? All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going to do 5 more. Oh, Kendall's watching Ghost Adventures. It's always on, always on. So if you guys ever wonder what I have on as background noise when I'm working, I'm sure some of you might want to know. Some of you are like, no, I totally don't care. But I either have Homicide Hunter on, Ghost Adventures, or what is that one show on the Science Channel that I watch? Abandoned, Mysteries of the Abandoned, or, you know, it's about places that have been abandoned. I love that. So if it's not music, it's one of those 3 things that I usually just have on as background music, or noise rather, because I can't stand silence. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. How did that happen? Okay, 2 more. 2 more. I was talking and lost count, and I thought I did more than I actually did. Okay, so 1 more knot, and we're going to finish this necklace. Are going to finish. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to take it off of the tying station. Okay, so we've used up some of that length, which is just boho yummy goodness, right, with all the knots. And now what we want to do is we want to attach this to some more length. Right? And so the length that you have is a choice of some faux suede lace in either gray, brown, or green. I'm partial to the green because it brings out the green in these really cool ceramic beads, but all 3 colors looks amazing. Okay. Included in your kit is 2 pieces of 24 gauge wire so that you can bundle right at the end of either one of your pieces. That's going to give you a little loop here. See the little loops? I didn't undo these just to kind of save time, but that's how you're gonna attach your ends. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to attach on one side, we're going to have our clasp, which is this little series of decorative jump rings. And on the other side, it's just going to be a jump ring. So let me show you how that's going to go together. Okay. So I'm going to take my jump ring on one side. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to thread it through one end of my suede lace here. Close that back. Okay, so that's attached there. Over here on the other end, I'm going to attach the other one. This one's got my clasp attached to it. So your clasp is actually in the front. However, this necklace is so long, you don't really need it. So if you wanted to leave it out altogether, you could. This will go right over your head. Okay, all right, so now we have 2 jump rings, and we need to tie on our hemp here. So I'm going to cut off the extra hemp on one side here, and I'm going to cut off the extra hemp on the other side here. Okay, just to shorten those up a little bit. And then the same thing that we did down here where we tied our jump ring in, that's what you're going to do here as well. So I'm going to do an overhanded knot around my jump ring. So I'll slide my jump ring onto the ends of my hemp. Okay, bring it down here, and then just tie an overhanded knot with your hemp. Pull it down nice and snug next to the last knot that you made. Okay, if you feel like you need to add some hypo cement to this knot right here, you can add some hypo cement. If you want to trim off your ends and make them really, really short, I definitely advise you to do that. I do like the little dangles, so I'm going to leave mine just like it is. Right, so that's one side. I'm going to come over here to the other side and do the same thing. Going through the jump ring, and I'm just going to tie an overhanded knot. Bring that knot down right up next to our knots that we made. Make it nice and snug. Okay, and then I want to trim off so that they match on either side. Now, if you don't like this unfinished knot business, you can do other things. But this is a very boho piece, right? It's a very boho piece. So we've got these pieces of, of our textiles. It's a textile piece. So we have these little fringy pieces. You can cut those off. If you don't like them, add glue first, right? And it'll give it a more finished appearance. But if you're really into boho jewelry and stuff, you can leave it. You can add beads to the ends and tie some knots. That'll bring them down, give them a little bit more weight so they're not just sticking up out of, everywhere. But it's a transition. So you're transitioning from the hemp into the suede lace. There's nothing at the back because remember our clasp is here at the front. And the only thing that's left to do is just to add a little dangle in the front here. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like because you guys are only getting to see little sections of this at a time. You need to see this necklace in full because it's really long and you double it to make it look like a 2-strand necklace. So let me grab a head pin real quick. And we'll put on our last little bead. And then I'll show you this one and our other necklace on a bust so you can see what they look like, right? So I'm just going to do a wrapped loop just real quick. Okay, chain those pliers, take the wire up and over, rotate to take the wire over to the other side, right? And then you're going to wrap in that space between the loop and the top of your bead. I'm going to make mine a little messy because I've got a nice long amount of wire here. And then I'm going to come in and trim off the excess. Okay. And I'm just going to attach this to my little jump ring that's right here. This little 4mm jump ring that's holding my leaf on. I'm just going to open it up real quick and thread on our little bead, our little gemstone right here in the front. Okay. So should, uh-oh, I got it twisted. This should hang right here to the front, right? There's your focal, there's your fun beads, your knots, and then your transition into your suede lace. So you've got a little bit of everything. This is really one of those, like, how much more can you do to this? I know it looks funny on the flat, but I'm gonna turn you guys around, okay? We're gonna look at this one from a different point of view. Perspective is everything. My friend Kathy taught me that. Okay, so now let me show you. This necklace is really long, right? You can just put it over your head and you've got a really long, I'm talking really, really long necklace here. Or you can take this suede lace, right? And because it has a clasp on it, you double it around, right? You're gonna double. Now remember, the neck on my bust is really thin, not a human-sized neck. But you double it. You double it. So you've got this cool pop of suede lace color, and you've got your boho fun, beachy, whatever you want to call it, fun hemp necklace. So it looks like two necklaces, right? That's what makes it so boho. You've got, you've got your hemp and your leather all together. You've got all of this fun stuff going on. It's a lot to look at, but if you double it around, in fact, I can get this one over my head without undoing the clasp. But that's why I included the clasp, because some of you won't be able to double it over your head because you got big hair. I got big hair some days, so I need the clasp. But you can wear it long if you want to and layer it with other pieces. But I originally decided when I was making this that it needed to be a faux double strand. So that's what you're getting here, right? So I hope you guys like this one. I think it's fun. It's really different. It's very unique. You don't have to do the knots. Put some more wooden beads on there if you want to, right? You don't have to do it exactly the same way that I did it, but I think it's cool. It's got lots of personality. It's perfect for summertime. So there you go. All right, so that was that one, and I did not forget the other to show you, the one that we did at the beginning, which is this really beautiful wire-wrapped pendant piece. Just very, very simple in style, but beautiful. Layer it with some of your other things if you want to, or wear it all by itself. It's just beautiful. Let it be a reminder of the calm and coolness of water and, I don't know, whatever. Insert greeting card comment here. I don't know. It's just pretty. It's just pretty. Let's be honest. It's just pretty, right? It's just a really beautiful, soft necklace to wear that either looks good by itself or, with other things. So, all right, that's it for the two kits that are in the shop right now, you guys. Those two kits are in my Etsy shop. There are plenty of them to go around. Also, there are some select kits in the shop that are 10% off until Monday. So you got all weekend to shop on those if you want to. If you'll grab them this weekend, if you're grabbing these kits, I'll ship them all together to save you on shipping. That's a question I get a lot. I get asked a lot. Do I combine shipping? Yes, I do combine shipping. You don't have to send me a message every single time. I promise you, I will combine your shipping if it happens within a 24-hour time frame. If you do more than one order, I combine all those and I refund you the difference. So don't worry about it. Let's see. Oh, and don't forget the maker mixes are there. Those maker mixes are just the beginning of what the maker mixes are going to be. I actually put those together because I was originally going to do 2 more kits for this week, but because I was sick, I just wasn't feeling it. I just didn't have the energy to do it. So the maker mixes are there, and I think they're going to be a staple within my Etsy shop. So if you like those, grab those up too. They're a lot of fun, and I've got some great ideas for those. So look forward to more of those in the future, right? Whew. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for this Feel Good Friday. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. If you are part of the Hardwired group, I will be seeing you in about 2 hours. Everybody else, I will see you either at Michael's or on Sam's tomorrow, or you can catch me here, same time, same place, next week. Don't forget, Tuesday, 1 p.m., set your reminders, and we'll have a whole new week. All right? So enjoy, you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.